Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth and final part of the team analysis video from FPL Camp. In this series, we shall be taking a look at every single Premier League team in FPL terms for the 2021-22 season. In this video, we shall cover Southampton, Spurs, Watford, West Ham and Wolves. Before we begin, I would like to say that if you enjoy the content, then please drop a like and comment on this video and share it among your friends. The support is invaluable. I have a lot of interesting content planned pre-season and throughout the season as well, so make sure you hit the subscribe button if you find the channel interesting. Hit the bell icon so as not to miss out on any new video. Southampton started the season really well and then just dropped off with injuries and the congested fixture schedule taking its toll. They were mid-table with their underlying stats, and what let them down majorly was the defensive stats, with them severely underperforming their expected goals against of 54.2 as they let in 68 goals, including another 9 goals in one match, this time against Manchester United, and 6 goals in a match against Spurs. In FPL terms, McCarthy and Walker-Peters both started nicely but then completely tailed off. Ward-Prowse once again had those immense matches, boosting his total points tally to 156, while Shea Adams picked up his form following the injuries to Ings. Southampton do not have a great start to the season in terms of fixture difficulty on paper, but their fixture run takes a nice turn from game week 8. As most people are planning to use their wildcard in that period of game week 7 and game week 8, I believe Southampton players will be shrewd picks then. I would avoid the keeper due to their rotating keeper situation like many other teams. Kyle Walker-Peters provides a nice way into the Saints' defense as he has decent attacking potential in him. Ward-Prowse remains the pick amongst the midfielders, but he remains very inconsistent with his return frequency. He often goes on a Barrett run and then returns 2 double-digit hauls back-to-back. So if you pick him, then it's best not to bench him ever, because you never really know when those returns are going to come up. But upfront is where I believe the value lies with Southampton. Shea Adams finally seems to have adjusted to life to the Premier League, and last season he scored 9 goals and returned 7 assists, including those of the fantasy ones. Danny Ings once again had an injury-curtailed season, but managed 12 goals and 4 assists, and will possibly be on penalties when he is fit. And he will be my pick over Adams if you can have those funds. But Adam is priced at just 7 million, so it's very interesting because he can be a nice swap from someone like a Tony, who many people have. Definitely want to look out for. Also, another thing to consider is that this is Ings' last year of his contract, so that might play a part in his performance, and he might even be getting a move later on in the transfer window. So this is something which we need to keep an eye on. Forget all the stats of last year. So Spurs have a new manager, and it is none other than Nuno Espirito Santos from Wolves. Spurs are undergoing a huge rebuild with a new manager and a new director of football. It is also rumored that Nuno will play a more aggressive open style of play as compared to the one that he implemented in Wolves. So this just makes the earlier stats for Spurs sort of completely useless. In FPL terms, last season it was the year of Kane and Son. Both of them just ripped apart in the opening 10 game weeks, combining for goals at a ridiculous rate and finishing almost every single chance. Expected goals took a toss, and I was personally burnt by them a lot. Hugo Lloris in front of the goal had a great season too. He finished with 149 points. Spurs have a mixed run of opening 6 fixtures, with them having 3 great fixtures sandwiched between 3 difficult ones on paper. This makes their players very difficult to pick, as it adds to the already existing conundrum of how Spurs will set up and how will they play. Also, there is one major question looming over their head, that is, will Harry Kane stay at the club or not? Now, even with all these questions, Spurs players remain very nicely priced and possibly good FPL assets this season. We all know that Nuno is a brilliant manager, and given time, he will implement a nice style of play, like he did with Wolves. So the first thing to note is that Nuno likes his team to be solid defensively. and it's also rumored that Spurs are targeting new defensive reinforcements this summer. So yeah, I mean, I believe it will take some time, but Spurs defensive assets will be quite the pick. Some game weeks down the line, it's difficult to predict when, but yeah, I mean, possibly 10 game weeks down the line, something like that. Hugo Lloris's price is a slight put off, so yeah, but I mean, if Spurs can get some defensive form going, then maybe in maybe in your first wild card, he can be a nice set and forget pick. Um, Both Doherty and Reguilon are priced very low at 5 million, and with their attacking potential can be great picks. Now the issue is that they are both great wing backs, and from what we have seen so far in the preseason, Spurs will play a back four. So yeah, I mean, that makes their pick a bit dicey at this point of time. But yeah, definitely both of them are in the watch list. If there's one player that I will gladly start the season with from Spurs, it is Son. So he has been electric in the preseason so far. With or without Kane, Son remains a great FPL asset. And if you look at the past stats, then the point per games for Son more or less remains constant. So with Kane, he provides a lot more assists, but without Kane, he's playing more centrally, so he's taking more shots. So although his assist potential comes low, his goal potential goes up. Now, for those who are looking to go without Bruno, then Son is your next best option, because I mean, one, he saves you those extra 2 million, which is there, and he's also a great captaincy option in game week 2 and 3, where many people will not captain Salah and will perhaps to look to captain Bruno if they own him. So I mean, he can be a decent alternate caption. He can be a decent alternate captain option in those 2 game weeks. Dele Alli is someone who is a punt, to be honest. I mean, it's mostly due to his price being just 6.5 million. So I would definitely not start with him, and I would definitely not get on him very soon unless he can, show some really eye-catching form. But yeah, I mean, it's his price which is just like, I mean, makes him makes him an entry to my watch list over here. Now, does Kane stay or go? That's a big question. And if Kane does go to City, then he's a shoe into my team. He stays. If he stays at Spurs at that price of 12.5 million, I do not think I would go for him right at the start, because I think Son at much cheaper VAP price offers more or less the same point potential, maybe a bit less, but yeah, I mean, you're also saving 2.5 million. So he's also rumored to be missing the first couple of games this season, so he's possibly taken extended rest. He's sorting out his future, so on and so forth. So yeah, so do keep an eye on that news, that if he's missing a couple of games at the start of the season or not. I think one of the main issues which is actually putting me off Kane is the presence of premium midfielders from both Manchester clubs in Bruno and KDB at a similar price point. So both of them are priced at 12 million, while Kane is priced at 12.5 million. Now both of them actually play for better teams than Spurs at this point of time. So yeah, so that is one of the major reasons why I'm put off Kane over here. Secondly, there are many mid-priced nice forward options this season, all priced at around 7.5 to 8.5. I mean, that's the price range. So I mean, plus yeah, I mean, at that price range, the only replacements at a premium range is someone like a Vardy or Oba over there, both of whom had a lackluster season last year as well. So a lot of things to consider, but I mean, yeah, I mean, all of this being said, he's already 28% owned. So yeah, I mean, I expect the number to go down as we near about game week 1. But yes, I mean, definitely a lot to look forward to with Kane this season. And again, I would like to reiterate, if he does go to City, then he's straight into my team. Okay, Watford has come up from the Championship, and they were the most defensively sound team in the Championship last season. True to form, they sacked their manager halfway through the season, and the new manager made them so strong defensively that they ended up having the best defensive record in Championship history. So yeah, I mean, it's brilliant, and definitely something to look forward to. Okay, now Watford have a decent set of opening fixtures, with them facing none of the top 6 from last year in the opening 6 games. Watford's defense is where the strength lies. So my FPL watch list players from Watford is primarily focused on that area. The Backman Foster combination at 8.5 million is a great pick because it guarantees you a playing keeper no matter what. And I am actually considering that for my own team very, very strongly. Uh, that So there's also news that Backman might be looking for a move, so I'm keeping an eye on that. So I mean, if he does get it moved, then do remember that we have a starting keeper at 4 million, which is brilliant. The defenders generally do not give attacking returns, and Kiko Femini on the wings is the best option at 4.5 million if you really want to go for a Watford defender. Ismail Sarr was the most creative player last season, and being Premier League proven, we all remember what he did to Liverpool a couple of seasons back. At 6 million, he can be a decent pick for those looking for a budget midfielder apart from those of Leeds. So yeah, I mean, if someone is looking at an alternate for or a placeholder for a Leeds midfielder, till their fixture becomes better, then Sarr can be a decent option at just 6 million. Yeah, I mean, apart from him, I would really not look at any other attacking player from Watford because either they are not guaranteed to start, and I mean, even if they start, they are very inconsistent and we have very little data about them. Okay, now West Ham. West Ham had a brilliant season last year and reminded us of Moyes' years at Everton. They were strong from set pieces, like a typical Moyes team, and the Soufal-Cresswell combination worked similar to how Robertson Trent performed from Poole. I mean, not at that level, obviously, but I mean, yeah, I mean, their performance levels were very similar to that we are used to seeing from the Liverpool fullback duo. The midfielders all chipped in with goals, and Lingard in his half a season loan just lit everything up in the Premier League in the second half of the season. The finishing was on point, and the West Ham team, who were touted to be relegated during pre-season last year, actually ended up qualifying for Europe. They qualified for the Europa League. Okay, now West Ham were a mixed set of fixtures to start the season. However, there are a couple of underlying issues. The major one is that they have to handle Europe on Thursdays this season because they've qualified for the Europa League, and I don't feel the squad is strong or big enough for that. So this makes someone like an Antonio a very risky pick for the long term due to his injury record. He suffers from multiple hamstring injuries. Secondly, West Ham performed best when they were playing without fans, and last season there were no fans. So I mean, this seems a very weird logic, but West Ham with fans actually have not performed up to the level to what we expect them to. So it might be the case that the added pressure of fans being there might be detrimental to West Ham team. But yeah, I mean, this is complete speculation, and but yeah, something to maybe think about. But simply based on last year's performance, there are loads of strong options to take from West Ham, and I think most of FPL teams will have at least one West Ham player in their game week 1 team. Due to the addition of Areola, I would avoid the goalkeeper pick from West Ham because there is another possible rotation happening over there, or will happen over there. Both Cresswell and Soufal are excellent picks, but I think Soufal being 0.5 million cheaper and being priced at just 5 million is the better pick. His underlying numbers were brilliant in the second half of the season, and it seems he has more goals in him. So it was a bit frustrating to own him at times because he used to get in those brilliant positions, but then just not convert. Also, it is interesting to note that if West Ham do actually end up playing a back three, then Cresswell plays as the left-sided centre back rather than as a wing back. But Soufal will play as a right wing back at that point of time, so that makes Soufal, I think, a better pick than Cresswell. But yeah, Cresswell is on set pieces, and we all know his set piece delivery quality. Souček's price is a bit of a put off. I mean, at 6 million, I think there are better options out there. But yeah, at just 0.5 million more, I am going for Bowen. I think he's my pick amongst the midfielder lot of Souček, Lanzini, and Souček, Fornals, and Bowen. I feel he will have an even better season this year. Now he's used to the Premier League and he's used to how West Ham will play, and he's the most creative midfielder in the team, and his preseason form is also something we have to consider. Antonio up front is a nice pick, but again, his injury record is really worrying, and till Europe comes, I think he's a safe pick. But yeah, I mean, with his hamstring, nothing can ever be said. There are rumors that Tammy Abraham will make a move to West Ham. I mean, and if that happens at 6.5 million, he will be a brilliant pick, starting for this West Ham team. Okay, now Wolves are another team with a new manager. Last season was a real difficult one for them with injuries and loss of players. The manager has exited. Nuno is now the manager for Tottenham Hotspurs. So I think it's best to ignore the stats of earlier seasons. As I again don't feel that the early stats will be very much relevant because we have a completely new style of play under a new manager. Now, fixture-wise, till game week 3, Wolves have some really difficult fixtures on paper, but post that, from game week 4 till game week 14, they have one of the best runs this season. I mean, on paper, in terms of fixture difficulty, at least. The issue is that we are unsure as to how the team will set up this season, and we can only speculate. But based on how Bruno Lag's team has played in the past and from what we have seen in the preseason till now, we can get some ideas, and I have added some players to my watch list. Now, Bruno Laga's team plays with high wingbacks in a 4-4-2 system. So that's his most preferred system, to be honest. His wingback, I think his fullbacks in Benfica give, I think, upwards of around 30 assists together combined. This makes Semedo possibly a great pick, as he seems to be the first choice right back clearly. Now, his other fullback partner is a bit dicey, as no one seems to be nailed on over there at this point of time. So what will happen? Will Johnny will come back? Is Alknouri really the pick? Will Masal play? So a lot of points to consider at over there, and still unclear. Connor Cody at 4.5 million is a cheap and guaranteed option into the Wolves defense if you would like to take that on. Although I'm not sure how strong defensively they will be this season. I mean, in terms of clean sheets, I don't think they'll get too many clean sheets this season. But again, it's something we have to keep an open mind on. And if they start to show some defensive form, some real defensive solidity, then Connor Cody at 4.5 million is a great pick. All the first choice midfielders are injured at this point of time, so that makes Neto, Podence. I think Adama Traore is back and training, so we have to keep an eye on how his preseason goes. So at this point of time, let's just move on to the forwards, and we have our favorite Raul Jimenez over here. Now he's back fit from that dangerous head injury he had last season, but he's surely a wait and watch for me, as we have to see how fit he is in the preseason and how eagerly he's going for those aerial duels. It is very important to note that one of Jimenez's most strong qualities was his ability to score goals from headers. He was very strong in there, and due to him suffering that head injury, he might be a bit, he might not go for those 50-50 challenges, and will that affect his goal scoring form or not? So it is something definitely to keep an eye on. And I think based on the first 3 game weeks and based on that form, I think many people are going with Watkins in their team. So in game week 4, I think Watkins to Jimenez will be a popular move. But it completely depends on how his performance is for the first 3 game weeks.